Hello everybody, welcome to another video by Liminal Spaces. So we're doing another Philip K. Dick story, awesome. This one is called The Gun. It was first published in 1952 in a magazine called Planet Stories. And it's a pretty good story. I had a lot of fun reading it. The basic premise is you have these astronauts that are arriving on a planet. They're not landing, they're just flying over it in the atmosphere, and they realize the entire planet has been nuked. There's no water, there's no life, obviously, there's no structures or anything. The entire surface has been melted and just re-solidified into this black pitted surface. And they talk about how they had seen from home, they had seen a glow in the sky from a distant star, and they interpreted that as probably nuclear fission. And arriving there, they realized that was the case, that the culture that they were hoping to go and find had completely nuked itself and it was gone. So they're kind of depressed and they're probably just going to turn around and go back. But then they see these white spots on the surface. So they go a little lower to check them out, and they look like, well, they describe them as piers, but actually they're foundations for large buildings in this circle. And they're like, oh, shoot, well, there must have been a city there, but it got nuked, obviously. So they go flying away, but then they get hit with a nuclear weapon, and they get hit with a second one, and they land. Their ship is not destroyed, but it's really damaged. It's going to take a lot of work to get it fixed. So while they're fixing their ship, they decide that a small group of them probably ought to go out and look around. So they leave the ship and they go out wandering, and they actually find the city that they flew over. They find the huge bottoms of these buildings that they describe it as them being baked. They've just been heated so much that they collapsed and then melted, and all that's left are the huge stone slabs on the bottom. So they realize while they're looking around that this is probably where the gun was that shot them down, that launched the nuclear weapons at their ship. And of course, they're in spacesuits, right? So they go looking through the rubble, and they find a plaque that has writing on it. And they do a rubbing of it, so they make sure that they capture the writing. And it says Franklin Apartments. And one of the astronauts says, that must be the name of the city. And they keep looking, and they find the gun itself. And it is pivoting. It's moving. It's searching the skies. It's not searching the ground, luckily. So they're not in any danger. They can walk around it and watch it. But it is surveying the skies. It's getting ready to fire on anything that might come flying over. So they figure, wow, why would this gun be here? First off, and can we destroy it? Of course, because they realize that they can't leave. The minute they take off, the gun's just going to shoot them again. So they go searching down underneath the gun, and they find this huge vault. And it has all of these films and photographs and writings. It is basically everything the culture, this half of the warring culture, could pull together and store and protect under this gun to kind of document their history. So the astronauts trash the gun. They repair their ship, and they say, okay, we're coming back. We're going to grab all of that stuff. We're going to take it back with us. We're going to learn everything we can about these people. And they leave. But as they're flying away, the gun notices them. It can't do anything because it's been destroyed, but it does notice them. And the fact that it can't do anything sets off an alarm, and these automated carts come out from underground to repair the gun. So they're going to have quite a surprise when they get back, is basically how it ends. So it's a pretty fun story. It's very straightforward, which I'm not really used to with Philip K. Dick. It starts off, you don't really know what's going on, right? You've got this astronaut peering through this little eyepiece and being like, it was fission, it was the ground, and people are looking through and they're horrified at the damage. And so it starts off a little bit vague, but you catch on pretty quick about what's going on. Honestly, I found this story to be pretty dang predictable, which is not something I love in science fiction. I was thinking about giving it kind of a low grade because, uh, I mean, from a minute in, you really know exactly. You know they're not from Earth. You know they're looking at Earth. We nuked ourselves. But it's very important to remember that this was written in 52. If this is the first kind of astronauts landing on Earth, because there's an Outer Limits that deals with this, there's, of course, a Twilight Zone, there's Planet of the Apes. I mean, this has become such a cultural norm that if this is the first time something like that was done, this is a 10 out of 10, like straight up. If he made this up, it's genius because it caught on like wildfire. Now, if he didn't, if there was 20 other stories just like this, which I don't know, but if there was, then it's probably a 7, I would say, because it's fun. I mean, learning about the culture of the people that are looking at the planet is cool. They got weird ideas, like the captain dies because of the nuking. So they're like, you're going to be the next captain because right now you're the vice captain. And he's like, I don't really want to be the captain. Maybe I'll mate with one of you guys and then you can become the captain, which is like totally crazy, right? There's just these fun little cultural references that Philip K. Dick makes about the kind of world building of this other culture. And they're fascinated by the idea that one species could fight itself. It's unheard of for them that anyone would fight someone that looks like them, that's the same species as them. It doesn't make any sense, which is cool. So there's neat stuff. There's a lot of neat stuff in this story. I'd give it a 7, but if it sort of created this trope that we're so used to now, it's a 10. Straight up 10. Brilliant. Yeah, so that's that story. Not a lot to say, just because, like I said, it's incredibly straightforward, especially for Philip K. Dick. But really fun. I hope you guys do have the book. I hope you're way ahead of me in the reading, just because we're doing other things. So I'm reading it slower than I probably should be, but we're still chugging away at it. It's going well. And if you like this kind of stuff, hit the like button. And if you want to see more like this, just subscribe because we're going to keep making videos. Thanks so much for watching.